Okay, wait, no. There we go, got it. Hello. Good morning, everybody. Let me know if the music is too loud. I always have a problem balancing, background music. How you doing? Good morning, Shade, Chassis, Chaville. Everybody in chat starts with the sound right now. How you doing? You would have titled it Sable Dragon Rock. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Hey, he workshopped Mort Boogie for like a week. If I recall. Barely hearing any music. Alright, that is the best case scenario because that means I can just turn it up. There, maybe that's a little bit better. Maybe now it's too loud, actually. Scatterbrained as heck. Me too. I feel ya. I'm now hearing a reasonable amount of music. Okay. Slam House, as always, is our music in the background. I exclusively use his background music when background music is called for. Sometimes we raid him. He makes music on stream. Cool dude. I'm a little bit grumpy. I'm not gonna go into it too much because we have cursed animal people to rate. But yesterday I got an email from a client that I was really excited to work with. I cold called them straight up. It's always really satisfying when that works, and I've done work for them before and it was great. And they sent me an email yesterday out of the blue. I hadn't heard from them in 2 months. And they were like, sorry, we're not going to work with you anymore because we found... What was the wording that they said? Let me just read you this email because I'm actually still quite grumpy about it if I think about it. The more I'm thinking about it, the grumpier I'm getting again. We regret to inform you that we will no longer be moving forward with your services. We have found that the articles we paid you to write contained exact words written by ChatGPT. I understand that we didn't add that stipulation or mention that we didn't want ChatGPT used. However, it was also not disclosed, and we paid a lot of money for something we could have done ourselves. Thank you for the time. We wish you the best of luck. I did not use ChatGPT. Never in my life have I populated any of my content using AI. I don't know what they mean by contained exact words written by ChatGPT. What does that mean? Does that did you ask a question of ChatGPT and it spit out my sentence? That's not possible. I mean, I guess in an infinite universe maybe it's possible depending on how complex the sentence was. But so basically, I'm still really grumpy about that because I didn't use ChatGPT, but exactly, unless ChatGPT was fed your content. So what I think happened is they tried to be big brain, right? Because some people think that you can put if you copy an article into ChatGPT, and you ask it did you write this? People think they're being oh, super big brain if they do that. So I'm wondering if they did that and then it said yes, and then they tried to ask it a question, and then because they had put my content into it already, it populated my answer. Right? And they're like, oh, well, obviously she used ChatGPT, when in fact they had just put my content into the corpus. And so obviously it was going to draw that answer. So I don't know. Ray is right. The tools are terrible. If you put the US Constitution into an AI detector, it will say that it's AI. There's actually studies about it, and I sent them those. So Yeah, I mean, that was the solution that I offered Ray. I was like, I will write more for you, and I will do it in Google Docs, and you can watch me do it live in one sitting, if you would like. You know, and I do have a ChatGPT account because one client sometimes wants me to populate like the headers of outlines using their prompts in ChatGPT, which I hate because I don't want to be using AI at all. But I logged into my ChatGPT account, which it has like, in January you did this, in February you did this. It has all of your past topics. And I sent them a screenshot, and I was like, as you can see, I have done one thing in January called like the benefits of dental groups or something, and one in February about pressure treated wood. And I wrote these articles for you in March. So, you know, I did my best to prove that I didn't do it, but I hate that in situations like this, it's just they probably have made a decision in their brain and nothing that I can say is going to change it, right? Well, that's the thing. That's damaging to your credibility as a professional. I'm still being friendly. I'm just being like, hey, walk me through your process. Maybe I can identify to you why this is coming up in ChatGPT, or like, what did you do? I can teach you about these AI detectors and why they don't work. But if they do anything to out me, you know, if they post like, yeah, we just had this writer such and such who was using ChatGPT, so nobody use her, you are getting sued into the fucking ground, you know? Because yes, that will destroy my business. And it's not true. It is simply not true. So that's literally the textbook definition of defamation. When you make a claim about somebody that's not true, that costs them money. Straight out of the textbook. But hopefully we don't have to go there. Yeah, that's a good word to describe it, Shavil. It's insulting. Because I didn't do it. Straight up, 100% I didn't do it. And it feels gross. So now, honestly, even if they apologize, I probably won't keep working with them. Because they came straight in for the kill. They weren't like, hey, you know, we noticed this, the ChatGPT pulled this up. Like, can you explain yourself? It was just straight up like, no, you're done. We're not providing you any chance to give, you know, a defense or anything. You're done. So I don't know if I want to keep working with them if that's the case, which is really sad because I was really having fun with this contract. Anyway, that's not what today's stream is about. I'm still grumpy about it because it happened yesterday. But thankfully, it was, you know, a couple $100 a month, which is not an insignificant amount, but it's not, you know, my main source of income either, so. Anyway, we're here to rate animals based on how cursed they are. And by animals, I mean people dressed like animals. Take that, grumpy head. How dare you boot me? Boot me right on the snoot when I'm grumpy. So there's a show on Netflix called Sexy Beasts. And they dress people up as animals. But like, not just like, you know, face paint. Like, they straight up dress these people up, okay? And some of them are cool. Some of them are super cursed. And so we're gonna look at them. So now let me see. Is there a place I can click that isn't an ad? Okay, here we go. First animal, I suppose. I have all of them loaded into OBS. It's gargantuan. Appears to be the man who was dressed up as a rhino, I believe, is our first contender. So bam, here he is. He's covering up the captions and everything, but you know, it is what it is. Is there a place I can clip it, isn't it? The TV at Idiocracy. I have it like, I have to have everything windowed in order to display like the captions and everything at the same time. So I have very little space to click. So here's Rhino Guy. Now, I don't know what anybody's name is. All I know is that they're dressed up as certain animals. And this one's a rhino. I don't hate it. Horn's a little crooked, but you know, what can you do? Something about the mouth being like, his mouth is wider than his mouth. You know what I mean? You feel me here? That's giving me the heebs like a little bit. But I like the wrinkles on his face. I like his little nostril hole things. I'm not sure how much he's suffocating in real life. So I think for Rhino Man, I'm feeling like there are some parts of it that are just kind of, you know. Yeah, the hook, like the top lip little V shape is really bringing it together, I think. I think that if he just had the regular straight across lips, it would be cursed. But the little hook lip is really, it's really doing some work, you know? So, I don't like how deep his mouth is past his human mouth. That's kind of giving me the creeps, but I like the rest of it. So I think he's right in the middle for me. He's pretty good. He's pretty good, is what I think about this man. I don't remember anything about the vast majority of their personalities. But that's not the point. We don't need to worry about their personalities. We just need to worry about their animal makeup. So Rhino Man, he gets a solid meh. He would make a great alien for a classic Star Trek episode. You're not wrong, actually. Next up, we have, I think, a goat. I think this is supposed to be a goat. Potentially. Because he's got like a little tiny horn in the top, you can kind of see it. I really like the nose. I think that the nose complements the design really well, and I like the dark lips. I think the face part of it comes together pretty well. I feel like the little fuzzy hair, yeah, exactly, everything but the wig. The fuzzy hair feels like an afterthought. Like you can see the seam. And so I feel like that, But maybe his forehead would look too big if he didn't have the fuzzy hair. Yeah, I really think the wig is not doing him any favors. I think it might also be hiding kind of the way that his ears are attached. Which could be a good thing, because they might be looking kind of janky in there, you know? Yeah, there are horns, and I think that the horns help. You just can't super see them. I couldn't get a good picture of the horns because they were either like right at the top of the frame or they were being hidden by his wig. Like if you were looking at him straight on, so. I don't just want to put him in meh also, because I really like his face, but I want to put him in cool, but I think that the wig drags him down, sadly, a little bit. I think he's cooler than the Rhino guy, though. I like him better than the Rhino Man, if I'm being honest. But I don't think it's the wig. The wig is keeping him from cool, I think. If only he wasn't wearing a used mop. Yeah, if only he wasn't wearing like a Swiffer duster that had already gone through all of the air vents of your house. Sad. So sad. Oh man, next up is not an animal. There are a couple in here that are not actually they're not actually animals, but that were still like kind of cool. This one is allegedly a dryad. She's something. The picture's a little blurry and that's my fault. No, just straight no. So I like the like woody hook nose. Needs moisturizer badly out of 10. I like the hook nose because it kind of looks like a branch. I like that the design goes down like into her neck and everything. I don't like the blue hair. It should have been like green. Even if you had like blonde hair or brown hair, Maybe brown would have been too close to the skin texture. It would have just looked like a blob. Yeah, exactly. Why the anime hair? And I even like the flower crown, but why the anime hair? I mean, are we feeling that this one is like straight up cursed? Or are we feeling this is more just like a cautionary oh no? A cautionary oh no out of 10. It's really the hair, sadly, I think. Oh, curly hair would have been a good choice. You're right. Curly hair might have blended in with the flowers a little bit better. Why didn't you do braids? If you had green, like a green wig and braids, it would have looked like vines, right? Like that would have been better, I think. But I like the flowers, I like the hook nose. It's possibly a little disconcerting that her lips are still pink and that her eyes are also still pinkish, which makes it look like she's been crying. Based on what I know, I'm not 100% sure I would put this in cursed. I mean, we're definitely at an oh no level. Maybe we'll move it to cursed once we see some more things. But for now we're in an oh no, I think. The next one is the only one that I put a question mark next to. I said otter question mark? Unsure. But we have this person who's here with us today. Oh, red panda? Maybe. It's Kung Fu Panda in a wig. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm sure that if I would have like actually watched the episode, the show would have said what it was. I don't think it's a chipmunk because we've got a chipmunk later that does not look like this. So, first thing that stands out to me is that the cheeks aren't the same. Her left cheek on our right is like much higher than the other one. And I think that's what's kind of given me a little bit of this uncanny valley kind of not rightness, you know what I mean? I like how the hair kind of seems to fit organically into the design. It just kind of transitions from what looks to me like almost like felt, kind of, the straight into the hair. And I like that you can see the eyes really clearly because of the black makeup. The cheeks are asymmetrically filled with food stocks. Just packing a little more on one side than the other. So I don't know. This is one, like if I was talking to Goat Guy, I think eventually I would stop seeing the goat. You know what I mean? It would just become sort of natural that I'm talking to a goat guy. This person, I don't think I could ever stop seeing the face. You know? I don't think I could ever get over talking to this person's face. Yeah, a cartoony vibe is a good way to describe it, because you're right. Like, again, if you compare to like the goat or the rhino, this just has a much more, yeah, cartoony. Like, it's weird to say fake, because they're all fake, but something about this one is just kind of different. I would rather, obviously not going on personality at all, because we don't know them, I would rather speak to either the rhino or the goat over her. So I'm gonna put her in oh no, but she easily beats the dryad, I have to say. Yeah, now that I look at it, I don't think she can be an otter. What kind of otter has this color of face? Red panda definitely might be closer. It's your favorite so far? Oh, maybe we should move it. Why don't we move it to the bottom of meh instead? And we'll just stack things on top of her. Yeah, she's something. She's something for sure. And I don't hate it. Okay, next one. I'm actually really excited about the next one. The next one is a bull. Where did he go? I've got 38 of these So give me a second. Here he is. Full guy. I love this. I love this. And I think that most people don't. But I think this one is so cool. The horns are really cool. I think the hair matches it really well. The nose looks like really realistic and like moist. With the nose ring is cool. The blue eyes stand out. The beard like perfectly integrates into it with his skin tone and everything. Like I'm super into this. This is really cool. When I first saw it, my immediate thought was, this is what the Minotaur in the Labyrinth looked like in his freshman year of college. So I really like this one. Hey, I thought I was clever when I called the S tier goated. Yeah, this is a party bull, absolutely. But he's like a nice party bull. Like, if you get drunk at the party, he's like covering you up with a blanket and giving you like a trash can to barf in. He's a nice guy, you know what I mean? I like this guy a lot. His ears aren't entirely symmetrical, but that's okay. Maybe he heard something, but only from one side. Yeah, and like I do think that the goatee is like actually his goatee. I think that it's not part of the costume. I think it's actually his, which helps it like fit in better. Would chug unreasonable amounts of beer while held upside down by this bull. Yep. He's such a bro, you know? I like him a lot. So he's really cool. I like him. He's goated. He's S rank. I like him a lot, actually. So he's great. Yeah, and he's so chill. That expression even is like, yeah, man, I got you. I got you. He's great. I love him. I think they did, like, the nose really just sells it for me, I think. If they had given him like a tiny little beady nose, it would have become cursed really quick, I think. So he's awesome. He's great. Next up is a beaver. On a show that's about dating, I think he's prime dating material. I would be excited to get to know him. Here's Beaver Guy. The thing that I remember about Beaver Guy is that he was swole as hell, which you can kind of tell from this picture. He was like that speedrunner Big John, if you've ever seen him, like same body type. He's about the gains, you know? So this one you can see pretty clearly the seam like between his face and his hair. But I think that's okay because it kind of adds some dimension. I like his little tiny ears. I think that the two big teeth are fake, and then the teeth next to it are possibly actually his teeth. And I feel like if that could have been more seamless, because it kind of just looks like those two teeth are just like glued to the front of his face, right? So if it had been more seamless with the other teeth next to it, I feel like it would be a little bit better. But yeah, the chewed up shirt works, I feel, with this design. The nose, there's something kind of fakey a little bit about the nose. But I think that the dimensions of his face are convincing. He doesn't have like some of these designs have like a really big forehead, because that's just kind of how the design works when you cover up somebody's hair. Like, one of the first things that you learn if you ever want to try to draw people, and I'm not one to talk because I suck at drawing people, is that like actually the actual facial features are not in the center of the head, right? They're kind of below half. Cheville, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're not. Your face isn't in the middle of your head. You actually have a fairly big like top of your head. And I don't really think that that's a problem for him. He just looks like a beaver that has hair, you know? Who is a Mog? So I like him. I don't think he's stellar. I don't think he's beating Dude Bro Bullman. But I think that he's pretty good. But do I like him? Yeah, exactly. When you learn to draw, it's jarring how little the face space is in the human head. Yeah, it's like down below half and just takes up this tiny little area. Because so much of it is hair, and you don't perceive everything under the hair to be part of somebody's head, right? Do I like him more than Goat Guy? I think, honestly, I'm kind of warming up to Goat Guy a little bit. I actually think that he's pretty cool. I think he has to move up. And then maybe Beaverman can be kind of bottom of cool or top of meh is probably where I would put him. I think for now, I mean, he's better than Goat Guy. Really? But Goat Guy's nose is so sweet. It's really the nose for Goat Guy that's pulling me in. I think that that's like a neat little design. I'm gonna put him at the top of meh for now. But I think he and Goat Guy might continue to war with each other. It is true. Goat Guy's wig is kind of bringing him down a little bit. If it was just like more seamlessly integrated. I'm gonna keep thinking over those two. I'll keep thinking about those mamminals. Oh man, next one's a lizard. You know, I like lizards. Lizard guy with a ukulele in case you needed more reason to think that this guy was cool. At least I think he's a lizard. He is what he is. So, I think it looks like they put that mop on him to hide something like they screwed up underneath. I think it's his ears. I think that they had a hard time like connecting his ears in a aesthetically pleasing way. So they had to do the fuzzy hair thing. Now, lizard guy here, it's the nose, I think. I like that his hands and everything are also green and blue. I like the green and blue color scheme. I like all the scales. But lizards don't have scrunched in faces like a human, right? So I feel like he needed more of the bowl treatment, right? He needed kind of a longer nose to sell it. But the way that they did it this, in this context kind of makes him look a little soulful. You know, it does kind of humanize him despite the lizard. But I really like the colors. I really like the scales. I like that they go down onto his neck and they get bigger, so it's a little bit of contrast. So I don't know. I like this one. He's also got like the full lizard mouth that goes like all the way back to his ears, kind of, which is what lizards do. So I don't think that he's like top tier like the bull, even though he's a lizard and he's cool. And I like his little fangy things on the bottom. But is he better than Beaver? Goat and Beaver are kind of having this war, and everybody else is trying to fit in around them. The real question, does he have two bulges in his pants? As a lizard should, apparently. That's a thing, in case you didn't know that, everybody. Reptiles usually have more than one. At least the boys. The girls are the same. Basically. So is he better than Beaver Guy or Goat Guy? He's better than Rhino. I mean, let's get that straight. He's better than Rhino, I think. Personally, I would be more excited to talk to this guy than Beaver Guy. But he's honestly kind of intimidating. The hand is blurred because I took this picture in the middle of him actually playing, so he was playing. Because lest you think that I just grabbed these pictures from somewhere, I sat and went through every single one of these episodes and took these pictures. So something about him is kind of intimidating. I think that he's more intimidating than Beaver Guy, honestly, because even though Beaver Guy is like a big swole dude and I am a very small person, I think his makeup is cool. I don't know how he ranks next to Goat Guy. I think he has to be ahead of Goat Guy because Lizard Guy doesn't have anything like the wig, right? That's kind of throwing him down a little bit. This is just an extended excuse to watch the episodes then. I think like if I actually try to watch dating shows, I find them cringe because like people are just like trying so hard, you know what I mean? But it was very fun to watch them actually moving. Like some of these designs, there's a parrot later. Watching it move like made it so much more amazing. Like seeing how their costume interacted with like their muscle movements and stuff made it so much cooler. So yeah, I like him for now. I like his positioning at the top of cool, but Goat and Beaver might still usurp him. We'll see. Who is next is another one that's not really an animal. This one is a Medusa. Bam. You like snakes? Because she's got a lot of snakes. There are many snakes. They were kind of spring boingy. So I like the color scheme. It's very vibrant. And I like the scales on the neck and how that's not also yellow. It kind of goes into like white. I think all of that works really well. It's very, yeah, very strawberry colored to an almost difficult to parse degree. I think maybe they could have gone like a little less saturated for the red. The snakes are cute. Yeah, and that's interesting that you brought that up, Chassis, because you could tell that she, when talking, had a really hard time being expressive. Like this mask or like facial prosthetics, you could tell made it hard for her to actually like move her lips. So every one of her expressions looks like this. And that's not her fault, but like she can't smile like using the sides of her eyes or her mouth. So that's something. The nose is kind of like horse-ish to me, which is kind of weird. Like this isn't what snake noses or lizard noses look like either, so it's kind of I'm wondering why they landed on like the slits for the nose instead. Yeah, I think that she's pretty caked on. I like the little right down the middle of her chin, she's got like a row of pointy scales that I think are cool. But I think a lot of the other scales look less like scales and more like kind of growths or some little chin scoots, yeah. So I like the vision that went into this. I like the concept, but I think that it it didn't come out as cool as the concept was, right? Probably some bearded dragon influence. Yeah, like I'm thinking we're judging the just the end result and not taking into account like the actors or the person's like ability to move and stuff. That's just kind of icing on the cake. So I think this one is just it's cool in concept, maybe not as cool in execution, certainly not cursed or anything. I would definitely put it above the red panda chipmunk otter person, but I think we're in meh somewhere. And I'm not sure if I like it more than the rhino. I don't like it more than the beaver. So basically, the question is do I like it more than the rhino or less than the rhino? I think Hmm. I think I like it less than the rhino. Whoopsie. Don't you usurp your place here. You don't belong in cool. I mean, she's fine. She's just fine. That's kind of just middling fine. In context, the rhino goes and oh no. Maybe we'll move him later. Maybe we'll take a double take at him. Oh man, one of the most famous designs from this entire, I don't want to call it a competition, but yeah, the general head shape is too much of a straight up square. I think it lacks some kind of like aesthetic appeal, right? It just went straight for like coolness factor, and it is cool. So, yeah, if you see like pictures of this show, this is probably the person you're going to see. Like she and her design are like the poster child for this show. This is a dolphin. I like it. I think that it's cool. It's a little uncanny at first, but I don't think that it takes that long to like get into it and just be like, okay, this is a dolphin. I get it. I really like the nose. Like if they had tried to do any other kind of nose with this, it wouldn't have worked. Um like her eyes blend really seamlessly. They kind of built the smile into her face, which I think really helps using the creases of the design. Yeah, the blowhole adds like some visual interest so you don't just have this empty slab that is just her giant like smooth head, right? And obviously like her neck, her hands, they're all the same color. Yeah, I'm sure they added the fin just again for visual interest, right? Because otherwise her head would have just been like an orb. But I like the creases on the nose. Um I guess it just occurred to me just now that dolphins don't have nose holes because why would they need them, right? So she doesn't have like a nose. She has a snout. But I like the little like this design is really simple and I think that that works. And it works not only because it makes it look more like a dolphin, but I think it also works because it kind of makes her look moist, right? Because she's an aquatic animal. So it makes her look shiny. Yeah, it's kind of like a chibi dolphin. So I think this one is actually really cool. Not as cool as Bullman, personally. I'm not sure we'll top Bullman. Maybe we will. So I preliminarily would place her underneath Bullman in the really cool goated category. I like her. Um, I don't know. Aside from like you said, the fin on top. What are you doing, Gooby? Gooby. Yeah, exactly. Like these little tiny lines that are kind of built into her design. I really like. So I think they did a good job with that one. This one, let's let's jump straight from that to this one. The mouse, if you will. This one maybe not as strong in many departments. I want to like this one because I think on paper all of the elements are there, but you put them together and I just don't think it works. I think this is a guy, not like it matters. Um yeah, exactly. It succeeds at being a mouse, but like I don't know if it's just a little bit of extra dark makeup on the cheek that kind of makes him look emaciated a little bit, like the cheekbone is standing out really far. Kind of like fuzzy in a way that is not useful for the design. I like the ears. I'm not sure why the mouse is wearing eyeshadow because that just makes the eyes look like sunken in, which again contributes to that kind of like emaciated look. Exactly. It just seems like they kind of have a smoker voice. I like the little beady nose, and I think that the little, like, the little, what do you call those? Pad things next to the nose, above the mouth, also work for this design. Yeah, exactly. It's cool in a less likable way. Like I said, on paper, all of the elements are here. And so it's kind of a cool design, but you put it into practice and it's like, I'm not sure that this is working, you know? So we've got, you can see here at the bottom, we've got chipmunk person-ish in the bottom of meh. I don't think that this falls into oh no. This is not the dryad. Like, I see the appeal of this one, whereas the dryad, it's like, kind of have to scrape to find some things I like about that one, you know? But do we like this one? Yeah, exactly. Do we like this one more than either chipmunk, otter person, or Medusa? Or even rhino, to be fair? Because I don't think it goes in oh no. I think that it's doing what it set out to do, you know? Let me throw this right here. I do think that this is better than the Medusa. If I'm being, it might be better than Rhino. Honestly, it's got more going for it cuz Rhino guy was just like, where did he go? Rhino man. There he is. Rhino guy, he's, aside from the cool textures on his face and the two horns, he doesn't super have a ton going on. Whereas at least the mouse has like a lot of mousy features, you know? So I think maybe you're right. I think maybe mouse does exceed rhino a little bit. Rhino guy looks like a guy in makeup. This other person looks like a mouse, I think. I think that's where we're at with that. All right, next, the one that I posted in the Discord server, which is the rooster. Got to find him among all of these many, many pictures. Rooster guy. Here he is. His pose is super dynamic, but red hands, which technically should be like yellow hands, right? Because the rooster's hands are not the same color as his face. The thing that gets me about this one is that he has two mouths. So if you just look at like the face with the eyes and the yellow beak, it's a really cool rooster face. But then you realize that he has an extra mouth underneath his beak. And it's, you know? So I don't know why they couldn't have just moved his nose down like a little bit. Because it doesn't have to go that far. It has to go like an inch, if that. And then just made his bottom lip yellow. And that would have like solved the whole problem. You know? Like, I don't mind the little flappy jowl things. That's what roosters have. And the same with the thing on the top. Like his, I was gonna call it a waddle, but you know, the flappy red bits on top as well. I think that those are all fine. They suit the design. Not a fan of the pose. It was hard to fully capture everything that was going on his face. And it got especially uncanny when he was talking because again, he's got two mouths. So I think the two mouths thing really drags him down. I'd like the fluffiness. I kind of don't like the, you can tell that he just has like a like a fluffy shawl that he's wearing around his neck and then it's just a shirt underneath. Cuz that kind of gives the impression that he's just wearing a mask that he just pulled over his head, right? The neck floof looks nice. It's just that underneath the fluff, you can see like the clearly delineated edge, like it's not folded over on itself or anything. Exactly. If you unfocus your eyes and you don't notice the other mouth, he's actually like super, super cool. So I think that he's cool. I think he goes in cool. And it's the mouth that keeps him from being goated because he has the extra mouth. Yeah, it should have been bulging out of the shirt. Exactly. Instead of sitting on top. Is what I think. Is he cooler than the lizard? I definitely think he's cooler than the goat. And we're not even sure if goat should be up there, you know? But is he cooler than the lizard? Costume-wise, like if you look at him from the distance, if you look at the little picture of him and you don't see the second mouth, he's cooler than the lizard. For sure. You know? And his eyes don't look too sunken. They really like to do the shading around the eyes. But for some reason this time it doesn't make him look sickly. So maybe he's cooler than the lizard. Maybe we should shuffle it around. For now he's gonna stay right there. Poor chipmunk otter lady, I don't think is ever gonna catch a break. Well, okay. You know, I say that, but now what we have coming up next. I forgot about this one. This one, oh, I've lost it, is a hedgehog. So here's hedgehog guy. The nose is okay. The seam that's like splitting the face is crooked, but he's got that little like peak in his upper lip that's kind of it's contributing. I think that helps. The thing that's getting me is the top of his head is like plastic. It's like they could only afford to do like his actual face and everything else is just like super fake. So it's almost like he doesn't have the quality that the other ones have. Exactly. The roundness of the top of the head, it is kind of like a bowling ball. Like you can tell that like if you felt it, it would feel like one of those Halloween masks. Either the thick, like sturdy ones or the kind of floppy ones, but either way, that plastic, that's what that would be, you know? I don't like this one, but I don't like it less than the Dryad. Well, is that true? Because at least the Dryad, at least the Dryad had some like some movement and stuff going on in the design. This guy's very constrained. I think my inclination is to put this in oh no. It's just, does it go on the top or the bottom? Or is this just straight up cursed? I don't think it's cursed. Yeah, the eyes are a little bit wonky. I think it's the white fur is not quite exactly lined up on each side, so it makes one eye kind of look more open than the other. The ears are kind of cute. I like the ears. Also, like his face makeup seems kind of uneven. And it could just be the lighting, but it doesn't seem like it's very consistently thick. Even within like the same side of his face. Yeah, it feels like the makeup artist was rushed. I think you're right, Shivio. If he's cursed, so are the Dryad and Rhino. Like, I don't think that he's cursed. I have one in mind that is cursed for sure. And this is not that. So, I think we reserve our cursed for only the truly shocking among us. I think I would put him under the Dryad because at least her makeup was consistent. Like it had the barky texture. I like the gradient on his nose. Oh, you're right. Like it kind of has like a skin tone and then it fades into the white instead of the white just appearing all of a sudden. Yeah. But yeah, if you look like underneath his right eye, so on our left, you can see there's like a swoop where the black makeup didn't go as far up as it should have. And like maybe he just rubbed his face, you know. So this one coupled with like the really flat top of the head, I think rushed is a good way to describe how this one feels. So he's a little bit oh no, but I don't fully hate him, you know. Don't fully hate him. Next up, more stereotypical animal, not a hedgehog. This one's just a tiger. So my first thought with any of the ones that look like this is they have a really big head. Because like ear placement, and they don't really have like the rooster or the dolphin had the fin and stuff on top that kind of helps to break up the top of the head. These ones don't have anything like that. So it makes it seem like their head is really big, you know? This one also, I get the impression that this is actually just something that they pulled over their head, you know, as opposed to it being part of their face. I don't know if that's true, but that's the way it looks to me. It looks, yeah, more like a costume than actual, like, prosthetics. I'm not as much of a fan of that. I think that her eyes blend really well. I like the nose. I like the kind of diminutive mouth. I think that all works really well. The white shirt underneath kind of lessens the impact, I think, because you kind of lose the fuzz into the shirt. But I like the black shirt to complement with the black stripes. I think that that is nice. Maybe if you just had like a lighter yellow colored shirt underneath, it would work better. The beard feels wrong for this face. It feels like they could have done it shorter, you know? Also, I've just remembered that I forgot to take my medicine. So give me like 2 seconds. I'm going to go grab it. I will be right back. I'm back. Okay, I'm here. Sorry. I also feel like maybe there could have been a little bit more detail in like the stripes because it feels like they just took lion or tiger colored fur. Oh, my captions aren't working. Not like it really super matters, but it's 'cause you can't see them. It feels like they took just like tiger colored fur and then just did concentric rings of stripes. And if it would have been a little bit more varied, I think that would have been a little cooler, you know? The ears also kind of look like a little too fluffy, maybe, for my tastes. Because it makes them look kind of fake. I mean, it's all fake, but it makes them look like lower quality, kind of, because they're not as defined. Dragon Sage, thanks for the lizard treats. Mort's not on cam right now, but I will certainly give him a blueberry. So I definitely don't think this is like cursed or oh no or anything. Like this is if you met this person, you'd be like, "Oh, that's kind of a cool little get up that you got going on there." You know? And the other thing is the news channels that were reporting on the show were like, "It's a dating show for furries." I'm not really sure you know what furries look like. You know? Like this is not what should come to most people's mind. Furries have higher standards. Yeah, like this is just because they're dressed up as animals. Like this is furry has a style, right? Like if you look at any of the people in my circles who identify as furry or just, you know, are active in furry circles, there's just like a specific style and you can tell usually. And that's not this. So this is literally just people in animal outfits. I wouldn't study under them, but I would learn a martial art under them. Is this just what Tigress looks like when she gets old and she like grows a longer chin beard. So I don't hate this. Definitely not. Is it cool? I'm not sure. Well, yeah, it was funny because some of these designs look a lot more like fursuits than others. This is kind of one of them, which is what I was talking about with like it looks like you just put the head on. For furries is clickbait to get the non-furry people to watch, yeah. So yeah, I don't think that this is cool. My only question is it cooler than the beaver? Because it's either going above the beaver or below the beaver in meh. Yeah, I mean that's very true, Shassie. Like a lot of what the people who are on the show are suffering from, right? This inability to express themselves. It does come down to like, especially like that Medusa woman, like the constraints of the face prosthetics and stuff that they're wearing. But if you ever see furries at conventions, they're so expressive. Like almost like musical theater, like big movements that you can see from really far away. Um because that's how musical theater works. You have to act big for the people in the back, and that's very expressive. Yeah, the dolphin is a fursuiter pose with the chin in the hands. There's a couple others that do that too. And that accentuate like you know what accentuates what you're wearing. So I think the beaver is more believable. I like the tiger more on a personal level, but I think the beaver is more believable and has an outfit that is like kind of better suited to what he looks like. So I'm gonna put the tiger underneath the beaver in meh, but it's a close call, I would say. Next, another one that is not an animal. This one is a zombie. And I think that this one is done pretty well. Honestly, the plastic that's holding in the brain kind of seems a little bit cheap. It seems like they just had a Tupperware sitting around. But aside from that, I really like the contouring of the face. I think that she like this face is built with the ability to be like really expressive, which is a plus. There's some cool like differences in coloring and stuff that's kind of built into the makeup that I think is cool. The earrings are kind of funny. Um, so yeah, I like it. I think that they did. I think they did a pretty good job. Not an animal, but I thought this one was cool. There was, I would say, probably like 5% of all of the costumes were non-animals. I included most of them. Some of them were like, "Meh, I'm not gonna include this. Whatever." Very matronly, kind of is, isn't it? Yeah, I don't mind this. I would actually go so far as to just say that this one is cool. It's not as cool as the animal ones. I don't think. Honestly, though, it might be better. It might be cooler than the goat because the goat still has the mop hair, you know? Goat still has that one thing that's dragging him down. Simpler to pull off, also true. Very true. And not so much like all of that nice, cool depth and texture and stuff that's happening on her forehead with the makeup is completely gone on her neck when they could have still like if you're gonna be this like undead thing, I feel like they could accentuate your jugular in your throat to really like play that up, use some shading and stuff like that. And they missed that opportunity entirely, you know. But yeah, I think she's yeah, need more stitches and grunge. I think that she's pretty good overall though. Yeah, the brain braids, right? Kind of over on the back that you can barely see. I think are also cool. Kind of gives you like an entrails sort of vibe. Yeah, cheekbone and forehead I think are the main highlights of this one. Oh man. I knew this guy was coming. This is a wolf. So, super what you would expect out of an animal show. Here's your wolf. This looks like the what does the fox say guy. Does it not? No. So this is what I mean about some of these having like that really big head and looking like you just put a head on over, like you pulled it on and it's a separate like costume piece. He does look more like a coyote than a wolf. And some of it I think has to do with the depth of his nose. Again, I'm not sure why we need these big floofy, like he's got this beard. Like it would have been fine, I feel, if he didn't have that. The ears are one of the strongest parts, I think. Maybe we needed like some more tufts or something on the head to kind of break up this big expanse of his head, which is also, covering his hair, and that's part of why it's taking up so much space. I like the fact that right around his eyes and nose, the fur is a lot shorter. I think that's a nice touch to help bring depth to the middle of his face without using like a ton of makeup. Because again, I don't know why they're so obsessed with doing all of this like shading around the eyes because it makes them look sick. But yeah, his head is like twice as big in the forehead area as it should be. So he's got the makeup on his hands too, but not on the bottom. And I feel like they missed an opportunity to like, actually try to do some makeup to make it look like he had paw pads or something. I like the way that his mouth kind of disappears into the fur. The fur looks greasy and ratty. It looks like just that really cheap Halloween store decoration fur, from like just a costume. Like if you buy just like the paws of some Halloween costume, it would have this kind of fur on it. So yeah, like there are things that I like about this one, but overall, I'm not super into it. Like I mostly don't like it. Okay, I think, hear me out. I'm making a change here. I want to shrink this guy just a little bit so that you can see what I'm doing. I'm making a little bit of a change based on what we've seen. I'm just really not enjoying this chipmunk otter lady, if I'm being honest. I think that the wolf is better than her, but it's not as scary as the dryad still. So I think she's downgrading to oh no. And the wolf is like right on the cusp of oh no or bottom of meh. Maybe he'll move. But I'm just not like a super big fan. Who's next? Oh, owl. Owl lady. Bam, owl. So I have thoughts on this one. I like the fact that the beak is the nose. This is so much better than the rooster having two mouths. I wish that it was fluffier. I like that the fluff goes down her neck, but I wish that it was just generally fluffier. Because right now, to me, it looks kind of like somebody just stuck some feathers into it and they seem kind of scraggly and disorganized. So I wish it just had more feathers in general to kind of help that blend in better. Exactly. Someone did not study their feather anatomy. It feels like these feathers are just kind of sticking out at weird angles. But I really like the concept. I cannot overstate enough that I like the fact that she has a mouth that's not a beak. Sorry, rooster guy. So I want to like this more than I do. Because in concept it's so cool and I do like it. But I don't think I can put it in straight up cool because of how sparse the feathers feel, The eyebrow feathers do a lot, I feel like, to accentuate the face, But then some of these other feathers, like the white one sticking out on the left, it's like, what are you doing over there, bro? Like, if this owl was an anthropomorphic animated owl, it needs to brush its feathers with a hairbrush. You know what I mean? It's looking a little scraggly, but I like the concept. It's like too round. It needs to be floofier. So I think that's what's keeping it from being cool to me. But I like it better than the tiger. Beaver is honestly kind of hard to beat because that worked really well with like his body shape and his face. Do I like it better than tiger though? Yeah, feathers are feathers, right? Instead of like seamlessly integrated, like small feathers lead into bigger feathers kind of thing. Which is what we saw happening with the lizard, like the scales gradually like were leading into each other and that made it seem more seamless and cool. So do I like the owl more than the tiger? I like the concept of the owl much more than the tiger. I think, I think that the tiger looks better, but I like the owl more. You know? Yeah, we could use some more transitions. And like I said, I do like that she's got feathers on her neck that are pretty close to her skin tone, so it just kind of seamlessly integrates in that way. I'm gonna leave this the way it is for now. I might change my mind about whether the owl is better than the tiger. We'll see. Oh, yes. Next up, Fishman. Where's Fishman? Are you ready for Fishman? Fishman. When I first saw this, my gut reaction was no. Like, no, do not. But if you look at it for a second, it's actually pretty cool. The mouth works really well. Like, it's like super organic with his mouth. The fin on the top helps to solve that problem we were talking about before. But I don't want to look at it for a second. The skin texture and like paint and stuff is really cool because it's got kind of this iridescent scaliness with a little bit of like, you know, kind of on his forehead, this blue and purple pattern, which I think is cool. The ears with the ribbed like fin things. Fake eyes could be mimicry. I like the shiny blue scales on his chin or on his neck. So I think that this one is like really well done. I don't necessarily like to look at it, but I think it's really well done. And I think that the person who made this did a really good job. Would he be better without the two eyes on the side, do you think? Like, because he does have a little bit of like a. When I showed this one to Husbando, his first reaction was that this is probably what the fish folk look like in what is that? Innsmouth? Is that the Cthulhu thing with the fish people? He said that this is probably what they look like. So they are kind of, this guy kind of does have a little bit of like cosmic horror thing going on. Oh, toss the eyes, add an anglerfish lantern. That would be so much better. You're right. Because I think that maybe it is the eyes that are kind of giving it. But if you took away the eyes, then Cheville, like you said, it kind of looks more lizardy than fishy. Hmm. But I do think that they did a good job. I want to put this. This is cool, at the very least. I kind of want to put this in goated, but at the bottom. But this is for sure cooler than the rooster. To me. So the question is just, is he cool or is he goated? It is really hard to make humanoid fish from experience. I think I am going to put him on the bottom of goated because they did such a good job with all of the elements. Like there's a lot of elements in this. Like you said, the bumps around the mouth, like he's got little like dangly things, like little mini fins and stuff in his ears. He's got like the scale, look at the scales on his nose. They start small between his eyes and then get bigger as they go toward the tip of his nose. So that's like really good perspective stuff. The pretty scales all over him are all different sizes, like they're bigger on his head than they are on his chin, which again, perspective. Like I think that they just did a really good job with this one. Even if it is like a little bit uncanny and weird to look at. So I like it. And so he goes up there bottom of the goated category. And it's funny when he's so small, like on stream, he just looks like a regular dude again. Because you can't see all the tiny details, you know? Next up, another one that's not a human. Or not an animal, more human. This one is an ogre. And it just kind of is what it is. You know, I feel like this one's very low effort. It's just makeup with a little bit of like spray makeup. The bottom teeth are like not super hard to do. The camera angle's a little face melty. His fake hair for his beard is like too consistent and a little too wispy. This is like if you went to Kentucky and found an ogre, this is what he would be. You know? Like this is an ogre dude who's like in his 40s drinking beer at the grill. You know what I mean? You're right that you can see the skin cap line around his face and over his forehead. So they didn't like super blend that. And there's not like super much interesting texture on his face. He's got these deep lines like around his mouth, which kind of support the illusion of those big teeth, but and I like his white lip, which again like accentuates that area and kind of his messed up ears. So like for a fairly simple design that wasn't an animal, I think they did like all right, but again, like you can see the skin cap, the makeup kind of makes him look more dirty than like nuanced. So I don't. You can also see the spirit gum. I mean, I literally just made a meh noise. So I think he goes in meh, right? Like the Medusa had more nuance to it, I think. So he's in meh. I'm gonna put him at the bottom. He's not bad. He's just kind of there. Is what I think. Me captions are no longer working. Capciones. Thank you. Yeah, it's not interesting enough to be an oh no. Exactly. Like there's nothing inherently wrong with it, but there's nothing especially like right with it either. It's just fine. Next. Where am I armadillo at? Where you at, armadillo? Can't find you. There you are. Boop. Armadillo lady. That's true. At least the oh no's have that going for them because they're noteworthy. Like there's something about them. I get the impression that Armadillo Lady is kind of an oh no as well. But that's just like a gut reaction because actually the stuff that's going on is like kind of cool. I want to give it head rubs. I don't like. So here's the thing. There are a lot of things that I don't like about this on a visceral level, but those same things are the things that I like about it from a technical level. I'm pretty sure her eye is just like that. I'm pretty sure her eye is just like kind of more depressed because of the makeup. So like I don't like her lip, her upper lip. from like a visceral human level, but I think that the way that they accentuated her kind of this ridge by her nose and then made her lip seem recessed from that is cool, even though I don't like it. She's organic Mega Man. That's an oh no. I like the little thing on her chin. And you're right, it does look more like a pig than like an armadillo for the nose. And Chevelle, I think you're right too, that considering that this is like armor for an armadillo, it's very smooth when it should be like super rough and textured. I like the ears. The face is uneven as well. So there are things that, again, there are things that I like here conceptually that I don't necessarily like practically, you know? But this evokes a stronger response than just meh to me. I think that this is an oh no, but it's not as bad as the chipmunk otter. I don't think, or the dryad. Is it better than the wolf? Because the wolf was like a visceral oh no as well because his head is like way too big. But this one at least seems kind of like friendly. Like you get more expression out of the face because there's more face to see that's not covered up by stuff. So it's kind of better. I waffled a little bit with putting this in meh, so maybe it should go above the wolf, at least for now. I think that if they made the shiny parts not as shiny and more textured, that would help like a lot with this one. Gotta find my next one. The next one is a frog. Here she is. Frog lady. Number one, colors. Very bright, very vivid. This is a red-eye tree frog. I think that it's cool that they did like the red lipstick with the red eyes. Like it all just really pops, you know? And I would have wanted to see her wear like colored contacts or something, but that was probably like a bit too much. Yeah, this works, I think, like on just a straight up animal level. I definitely think it's good that they kind of squished the nose as much as possible, even though she's probably really uncomfortable. And yeah, really wide mouth, because again, frog. I like the ridges coming down from the frog eyes. That again, that breaks up. Because imagine if those weren't there. Then suddenly her forehead, again, seems like huge, right? So even just those little lines helps. And like her face, her forehead being a little bit lighter than the top also really helps. No ears, which lends into the frog smoothness. I think they could have done a little bit of texture stuff on like her neck and shoulders that would have helped, besides just making it like yellow green. The cap could be smoother. You mean like between where her, like the ridge above her eyes, or you mean like the top actual texture of it? And I like the eyes on the, like the red eyes on the frog. They're looking wildly different directions, which is very, very correct for these guys. I really like the shade of the skin paint. Like there was a way they could have taken this where the green just looks like snot. You know, it looks like this sickly green. Yeah, I see what you're saying. The cap looks like it has gaps where it meets the skin. And so I like the green that they picked. I would have, like I said, I would have liked to see them do something else with her eyes. And obviously they couldn't really have done like red because then that would have just made her look like she was crying. But colored contacts or maybe like her eyelashes being like a brighter color would have been cool. Yeah, the different shades of the green, especially as you get toward the top of her head, is like really cool. So, essence of frog in a person. I think that this is really good. Oh, glasses. Glasses would have been a good idea. But I guess you don't have ears if you're a frog. I also really like her blue outfit. I think that that works really well for her specific animal. So frog, honestly, better than fish. Fish is up here because the execution on his was really good, but frog is just better, I think, in general. I still really like bull, bro. And Dolphin just like knows 100% what she's about, and that costume is really working. So I think that this is where Frog goes, but I really like her. She's very cool. So we have not actually come into some cursed ones. I kind of want to move the otter thing into cursed, but we'll and maybe the hedgehog. The dryad is still kind of warming on me. The hedgehog is better than the dryad. Or no, the hedgehog is worse than the dryad, and the hedgehog is still worse than this lady. Dryad is like better than these two. Let's be real. Like she's fighting for her spot in the middle of Ono. Could have used more of the dolphin nose? Maybe. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think this one will be divisive. Or maybe I'm wrong and everybody will just love it. Baboon guy. I think that baboon guy is really cool. He's kind of like the beaver in that the fur and everything suits his face, and so it seems like really seamless. I think that they did a good job with the whole nose area. Um and I like the beard. It actually seems like kind of substantial and it like puffs out like it's supposed to. Good job, Hate Monkeys. I really like the long, skinny, not whiskers, but you know, these long hairs that are coming from around his eyes. I think that that's cool. I think that his outfit kind of suits the whole deal. I like it. I think that this is a really good representation of an animal that is a person. His head's still a little bit big, but with monkeys kind of in general, that is actually kind of a thing. So it works a little bit. This is a mandrill. I was incorrect. It's a Rafiki, right? This is what he was, I think. Yeah, you're right. Baboons are different. Let me look at a picture of a baboon real quick. Baboon. Yeah, baboons are those guys. Baboons are the ones that hang out in Japan in hot springs. Yeah, no, he's a mandrill. Jean jacket making it slightly mid. You don't think that the blue complements with the blue on his face? I wish that they would have given him some fur for the top of his hands. I think that that would have actually made like a pretty big difference as far as like seamlessness and kind of integrating it all together. I would have liked that. Not really a matter of color, more of vibes. I'm torn whether he's top of cool or bottom of goaded. I don't think he has. Exactly. This is probably the closest in accuracy for the target animal. Like, I think they did a really good job, but it's also like fairly simple. So, like, do we rank it goaded because they did such a good job of representing the animal? Or is it just cool because it's not as like nuanced as like Bullman? That's true. It is kind of cheating to do primates because it's very easy comparatively. Like primate v frog, right? It's much easier to do a primate than a frog. I think he should be in cool. He's not cooler than the lizard. The lizard took more effort as well. He's cooler than the rooster because he only has one mouth. I think that's where I would put him. Like he does do such a good job of being that animal, but also not very much opportunity for expressiveness, I feel like, which is a little something. Oh, this next one. This next one is a warthog. We're in the Lion King now. Warthog man. Yay or nay? I'm not even going to say anything. I just want to know. Warthog man, yay or nay? No, this is a character. I really, really disliked this one the moment that I saw it. It was kind of like, the same visceral reaction as like the dolphin, where like I saw it and my brain was just like, no, but then you actually look at it and you realize that it's cool. I think they did a really good job with this. Again, like, you look at this and I feel like you know that this is a warthog, right? The lower lip is really selling it because it's like sticking out that kind of floppy lip like you would expect with the little tusks coming out. Really contoured, defined cheeks that obviously have some prosthetic on them to beef them up a little bit. I like that. His nose is like really big to match his lips, which is exactly what this needs. Unlike Goat Guy, his hair actually looks like it fits, right? It's not just a mop that they strapped on using a stretchy band. Yeah, I think the ears look good. I actually really like his outfit with it. I think that it all kind of ties together. The fact that the warthog's color and all of the makeup that they had to do to accentuate like his nose, the ridge down his nose and everything, is already dark helps because they wanted to darken up his eyes, and that helps his eyes pop out. Alu, nice to see ya. How you doing? Welcome, just in time for Warthog Guy. Yeah, no, the nose and the lower lip, I think, are what's really selling this. Bad and Thriller Michael Jackson album covers, kinda. You're kind of right. Yeah, no, I really like this one. And I also want to put it in GOAT, but is it better than the frog? Like frog is tough competition. Bull is tough competition. I think that this one and the bull kind of have the same level of technical complexity going on. As far as like, they have this big accentuated wet nose. Um they've got hair that like plays into the design and these big ornamentation things on their head. Yeah, the frog is really hard to pull off. The dolphin was like really expertly done in terms of like tiny details that really sold it. It's better than frog, but has slightly less merit. Yeah. Well, okay. Would you rather talk to warthog guy or frog lady? If you were just gonna like meet somebody on the street, would you rather talk to warthog guy or frog lady? Because in both cases, the makeup artist did like a ton of work to get this to work. I want there to be something on the hand as well, but I don't. Almost like if you had painted just the fingers black or something to kind of imitate hooves. Maybe that would just been weird. I'd talk to Frog Lady. I don't like to talk to people in the street. Thank you very much. I don't know where to. Like he's. I think this guy is better than Fish. Yeah, Warthog is street guy. Frog Lady is like professional event, right? And I think this guy's better than Fish, because Fish is. I think Fish will probably always remain at the bottom of Goated because he's literally just there because of the immense amount of detail that went into his design, and it was really cool on a technical level. But it didn't like work the way that like this one and the bull work, you know? So it's better than Fish for sure. You're probably right. Warthog probably has more interesting things to talk about based on his outfit. So let's see here. I think with Frog Lady, there were a couple elements like Goliath pointed out, kind of the seams a little bit in the top frog portion that could just kind of draw you out of it for like a second before your brain re-rationalized it. I don't feel like Warthog Guy has that problem. All of it is like really integrated, and I think that that works in his favor. So I'm going to put him above Frog Lady, even though Frog Lady is amazing. Now, following up from the very impressive Goated Warthog Man, we have, as soon as I find it somewhere, this guy. Yeah, exactly. Everything on Warthog Guy was exactly where it was for perspective reasons and like symmetry reasons. It was another one where like somebody did a really good job with planning. Can't have more people in Goated than cool. I disagree. Here's Bug Guy. Now, right off the bat, I tell you, I love Bug Guy's nose. I think that the way that they made his nose seem like another like scute on his body is really cool. And he's got the little mandible things right around his mouth, but they like blend in so they don't super stand out. One of the things that I actually really like about this one is the way that they accented his eyes with his upper eyelids being slightly lighter than his forehead. Is that if you're looking at him from the perspective of the bug on his head with the big eyes, his eyes look like nostrils. So it kind of works either way. So I think the response to this one is goated, right? Fantastic representation of the weird way a grasshopper face works. I love that they had the confidence to do like these big antennae as well, because those they don't usually go that far off of somebody's face, right? I don't know why gym teacher works with it too, but it does, doesn't it? So yeah, I love his nose. I love the like super clearly delineated like plates of his face and his little mandible crunchy things. I love the eyes. The makeup color is all very cool. So I think he's goated, but is he goated even more than like, you know, Warthog Guy? I would argue that he's maybe more goated than Dolphin because he has the same kind of like this is really super working, but in a more nuanced way. And like Dude Bro Bull also cool, but this one seems like impressive that you got a human to look this much like their animal. Yeah, I think that you're probably right. Like he's just straight up at the top. Like Bull Guy is cool, but I just can't get over his faceplates. They're really, really cool. There's a lot of dimension in this one. I like it very much. And he's even got like little stripies on his antennae and they bend. It's very cool. I like it. Also, I don't know where his ears are, which is like kind of the point. So I like this one a lot. Next up, though, gotta find my man. Parrot. Macaw. This was one of the ones that I think really grew on me because I got to watch him talk, which we shouldn't count. Like we should just look at the design. But you know how birds, the ones with these hooked beaks, often like roll their bottom jaw over their top one and back and forth when they're like manipulating seeds and stuff. When he was talking, it was doing exactly that motion. It looked so much like an actual bird. So that was really, really cool. And it's kind of hard to tell, but his bottom lip isn't just painted black. He does have like a little prosthetic piece that sticks out a little bit, like a beak. So he does kind of actually have a full beak. I don't want to like it. I think again we're kind of suffering from the problem where some of his face feathers, especially the bright red ones, seem kind of fake or like low quality. They're kind of the fluffy feathers that you would get on like a princess magic wand in a dollar store kind of vibes, you know what I mean? But it's by far the best beak that they've had. Like it just straight up incorporated into his face. It works. It's where it's supposed to be. I like the soft looking and very, very vibrant feathers, the long ones on the top, like the green ones, and kind of the dark ones beside them. Why does he have a kabuki face? Yeah, why did they just like spray paint these little patterns? I mean, it's to add visual diversity to the face, right? But you could have just done that by doing like feather texturing, I feel. I also feel like, yeah, like gray would have been better because they don't have red on their face. They have grayish from their skin underneath, right? I also feel like the beak, I guess they did white for the top portion of the beak just so that you could see it and it didn't just look like he had like a big gaping black hole in the middle of his face. Don't want no mouth of Sauron thing going on here. But the white paint on the upper beak kind of looks a little bit inconsistent. Looks a little bit cloudy, you know? So I think that this one is a good contender for like cool. It's cool. It's definitely not meh. There's enough things wrong with it that I don't necessarily want to put it in goated. I think that it's better than the rooster because of the beak. Um, I'm not sure that I would say that it's better than the mandrill because it's less convincing and there are more things kind of wrong in quotes with it. So that's probably where I would put it is nope is over here right next to the rooster. So he's cool. I like him. I like the green. I I don't really know what I would change aside from like you said not having the red on the face and either doing gray or just like differing the lengths of the feathers around the face into patterns so that it was kind of more organic. I think would probably be the only things that I would change. Oh, we're going to like this one. We are going to like this one. You got to find it as always because there's a million of these. Here's a rabbit. I'm going to leave you on that image for like 30 seconds because Gladio is out of his enclosure and I need to go close his door. I'll be back in like 30 seconds. Discuss the rabbit. Okay. Gladio has this wonderful habit of because he can free roam during the day if he wants to, as long as I'm here. He has this wonderful habit of not just gently opening his enclosure door, but like flinging it open. And so then all of his humidity and heat and everything is getting out, and I always have to follow him up and close it. Anyway. Yeah, I really liked it. No, this is cursed. This is cursed. When I saw this one, I told Husbando, this is what the rabbit would look like. Like, I don't even remember if there was a rabbit in Five Nights at Freddy's, but this is what it would look like. This looks like the rabbit costume in some kind of really bad, low budget horror movie. You know what I'm saying? Just the face of someone who showed up 5 minutes before the cameras were set to whirl. Yeah, Spirit of Halloween out of 10. Yep. Rabbit costume in a small town Easter parade. Yeah, this is the one that like tries handing eggs out to kids and they just cry and run away. So yeah, no, this is cursed. This is cursed. This is our first cursed. Don't like him. Don't need him. His teeth are crooked. He's big floof. You can't even really see his eyes. Does he have eyes, or has he been dead for 100 years? We don't know. Need some blood. Yep. No, no more rabbit. Get out of here. But wait, we're following it up with one that I would argue is just as good. Chipmunk. So this one sits in the same place as like that otter thing for me. Where it's like there's nothing objectively wrong, and yet I don't want to look at it. You know? Like the cheeks have to be big if it's a chipmunk. But no, I refuse. And like the eyes again, it's like they're sunken in. Yeah, again, it's asymmetrical. The cheeks look like if you touched them, they're not squishy and soft. You know, which that's kind of the whole point about why a chipmunk is cute is because they're soft and little pockets of joy. I do like the teeth in this one because compared to other ones like the beaver that have had these big long teeth, this one actually has kind of like some texture and color, like dirt sort of, as if the teeth have a deep groove near the top. And I like that. But that's about it. Chubby old man caricature, yeah. It's funny how a lot of these rodent ones are kind of just like human caricatures a little bit. So I don't like this one. I don't feel like this one is gonna murder me. Like this one is not, one bad text message away from massacring my family. So I think it goes in curse, but underneath the rabbit. But even if it were more symmetrical, I don't think that saves it. I mean, it might. I'm not saying that this one wouldn't come into your house with a machete. I'm just saying it might take a little bit more provocation than the already soulless and dead inside rabbit, is all I'm saying. So yeah, no, chipmunk is also cursed. And then this one was another one. I actually asked Husbando what he thought this one was because I wasn't sure what animal we were looking at here, which is always a good place to start. And he went with mountain lion. So here we go with potentially mountain lion here. I think this one. Hey, Sokasa, how you doing? Nice to see ya. Thanks for the lizard treats. Or it's not on cam right now, but I shall give him blueberries. What did I just walk into? We are ranking the human animal hybrids from the dating show Sexy Beasts by how cursed they are. It might be a cougar. It might be a cougar. So I don't hate it. I kind of hate how, like you said, Karen its hair is. Like, her hair is just straight up like human hair, but on a cat. And I'm not sure that I'm down for that. But the rest of her makeup is not that bad. Like, you can see that her eyes are blue, which is saying a lot compared to some of these other designs. Her cheeks and kind of this area around her nose is like pretty believable. She doesn't suffer from let's just give this cat a beard syndrome, which a lot of the other ones did. Um, I like the kind of fading in the fur down her nose. Her nose isn't just like bright pink, and I think that that works. So this one, is it cool or is it just kind of meh? This is okay. No, this is not. I'm changing my mind here. Beaver Guy? Beaver Guy has been king of the meh category for far too long. He's cool. He's straight up cool. He's cooler than Goat, even. So he has moved. Beaver Man has moved. Whoops. Beaver Man has moved to here. He's cooler than the Goat. He might be cooler than the Zombie Lady. You know what? Honestly, Beaver is cooler than Rooster. This guy is making a huge jump right now. Beaver is cooler than Rooster. Finally. So, Mountain Lion Lady could potentially be cooler than like Owl or Tiger. I still like the Goat better, and he's at the bottom of cool. So I don't think that she gets to be in cool. It's just, do we like. Who does she remind you of? I'm scared. I'm shrinking her down a little bit. Karen is queen of the meh. That's kind of what I'm feeling. Mallory Archer. Let me look up this person. Mallory Archer. You're right. That's exactly right. Except the hair color is different. That's funny. I think this is, yeah. I would put her at Queen of the Meh. My computer is getting so slow. Because I don't hate what's going on with the face. I do think that this is like a kind of convincing like cougar face. It's just it's really basic. You know? Like compare that to where's our let me get some of our goated ones up here. Like Fish Guy, look at how complicated he was, which is why he is the bottom of goated. Warthog Guy, obviously, also very complicated. There's perspective stuff going on. Um, where is I want to look at Bug Guy again because he's so cool. Bug Guy is like top tier. Like he's literally top of goated. Can't wait for Hedgehog Guy's use comeback. No, Hedgehog Guy's going down if he's going anywhere. So like compared to these things, Cougar Lady is just kind of meh, you know? So she's queen of meh, exactly. That's just kind of where we're at. But let's shake things up with truly a design that somebody had. Um Charl, as I mistyped. It's Shark. Shark. Hammerhead shark, specifically. I like the willingness to have the hammerhead, to have some like horizontal dimension here. Also, are we not playing music? Have we stopped playing music? Where my music real quick? That's still playing, hypothetically. Just in case. There. Yeah, bold move, right? Going for the hammerhead. I feel like that is like this horizontal dimension is doing a lot to help this design. I also really like how the upper lip is like non-existent. That's very sharky, coupled with the teeth that are also very sharky. I like the face paint and how it doesn't like it is kind of watery and just fades into the white. I like that a lot. The nose is very cool. Obviously, the hands match. The paint goes all the way down her neck. The hammerhead has two little eyeballs. So, like, aesthetically, it's not very pleasing, but I think that it's really well done and it's cool, you know? And I think that this person is also enjoying it, which is nice. I think my only criticism is that it almost feels like the hammerhead shark horizontal head is too separate from their face. And so it almost seems like two different costumes, you know? Like maybe if you had integrated the hammerhead parallel to her eyes instead of on top of her head, it would have like integrated it a little bit more. It would have been a little better. But I still like this design. Yeah, the multiple rows of teeth is cool. Like I said, the upper lip that kind of has this overhang over the bottom jaw is very like fishy, and I think that that works really well. So I think this one is cool, but it's not among the better cool ones. I think it's really well done though. Like this is like you said, another kind of study in how to do the animal well, which is the same with like the mandrill. I really think that Rooster having two mouths is just really dragging him down. So this person is they're in cool. I feel confident about saying that they're in cool. A very well done bad idea. Yeah, that's probably a good way to describe this. I think it has roughly the same level of skill as like Rooster and Zombie Lady. And it's got more going for it than Goat Guy. Rooster has a lot more things going right, I think. So I think that probably this is where Shork is going to be. Um Next up, we've got another bug. If you are excited about that. Bug number 2. The cursed bug in my mind. This bug is not nearly as cool as the other bug. Again, I like the detail. Having the little, not proboscis, but the creepy little fly mouth on the chin instead of coming out of the nose was definitely like the right choice. And I really, really love like all of the rainbow stuff that's happening on the chest. That's really pretty and really cool. And they definitely leaned into like the iridescence of a fly. But it's just kind of creepy and I don't like looking at it, you know? So I think this idea was done well. I don't like it. Yeah, I like the chin thing. And I like the eyeballs on the top of the head. I think that the other one worked a lot better because like I said, with the other one, you could view the eyes of the dragonfly or grasshopper or whatever you want to think of it as. And if you looked at those as its eyes, then the person's eyes looked like nostrils. And so the design kind of worked in both ways. But with this one, that's not the case, right? Because in this one, you would be looking down at the top of a fly's head. And then all of a sudden, you have like a mouth and eyes in the middle of their head, which is like weird. Yeah, no, it's not meh. And I don't like it. I think that this is cursed but it's the best cursed. You know? Like, Rabbit Guy is the worst. I'm not sure we're going to find worse than Rabbit Guy. Chipmunk Lady, kind of cursed. Fly person, as you said, awful idea, executed competently. I hate it. This is Quantum entangled with both cursed and cool. It feels exactly like no matter where you put it, it feels like it belongs in the other one as well. You know? So I am happy putting it in cursed, but oh boy. Because don't like it. I don't like it. Alright, where my panda at? Because that's where we're going now. There's our panda. Panda lady. This one, super simple. Has the impression that, again, it's just a head that you put on. Which I am not a big fan of those designs. But they avoid the problem with, like, the wolf in Oh No of having, like, this huge forehead. And I think that that goes a long way. Exactly. Good fursuiting technique. Like, you can tell that she's using her whole body. I think that the fur looks better. It doesn't look quite as cheap. So yeah, I think this is a really basic idea that I'm not really sure how they would have done better because the panda is like such a simple design. So it's like cool. Like I want to respect it for the just fineness that it is, and putting it in meh feels too negative. My captions are like struggling so hard, but whatever, we can't usually see them anyway. Yeah, it's like it's meh just because it's a panda, you know? Because there's not much of interest in the design of a panda, and that has nothing to do with how well they did here. Yeah, panda is orb with ears. So what do you what is currently at the bottom of cool? Is panda better than goat guy? Like I have a soft spot for goat guy because I think his nose is really cute. Let's look at goat guy again. Let's just where did goat guy go? Here he is. Here he is. Goat guy, pretty cute. It's really just the mop that you can tell is like scrunchied to his head that is dragging him down. I think he's actually really cool. So is panda better than goat guy? Yeah, his wig is just really he would be so cool if that wig was just integrated into his fur. So is Panda is not better than like Shark and Zombie Lady because it's too simple. Because like you said, like animal choice is kind of a fair thing to judge. Like Panda, where do you belong? Goat and Panda are about equal. Yeah, it's kind of the impression that I'm getting. I personally like Goat more, so I think maybe Panda's gonna stay here for now. Panda's cool by the skin of their teeth, yeah. Almost just because nothing's wrong with it. Like they did just fine, and so it feels a little bit insulting to put it in meh, you know? We are in the home stretch here. It's very interesting to see, actually, that there are quite a few of goated and cool animals in this show. They're not all horrifying, looking at you, rabbit. Yeah, the posture of everyone in meh is just like, it's just a headshot for business, you know? Still hate the fish a lot. Well, maybe we'll just let him sit in goated until the end, and then we'll put him where he truly belongs. The next up is a jaguar, slightly different from tiger. Very furry ears for some reason. This one also kind of reminds me of a Spirit of Halloween or a Spirit Halloween like just mask that you would get, like articulated mask. Like this looks to me like you spent a little bit extra, but still it's Spirit Halloween. You know what I mean? I feel like you can see too clearly the seam between the face and the head where that light row of fur is. Um the lips kind of don't have enough going on to just not be human lips. And it do jaguars have like a black bottom lip? Because that just kind of makes it look like they have a beard, you know? And I'm pretty sure this is a woman, which I mean, she can have a beard if she wants to, but yeah, it does kind of look flat. It suffers a bit from that same syndrome of big forehead, right? I like the details around the eyes. I like how they like made the eyes look a little bit bigger using that black swoop. Added a little bit of detail. I like how the spots are not just spots. A lot of the time they're just blotches instead. That's nice. They're still a little bit too symmetrical, I think. Like they're too consistent. Yeah, there's not perspective stuff going on. The fur, also I'm not sold. It looks like fake furry, kind of, you know. I feel like the area to the side of the nose where the whiskers are, the whiskers are all like in perfectly straight lines, which is kind of uncanny as well. Yeah, if the artist who did the warthog had done this, right, there would be something going on. Even if they were trying to play with like the pattern of the spots or something to help like uh what's the word I'm looking for? Disguise using perspective and you know, to help ease that a little bit. So I kind of don't like this one. Like I think that I actively dislike it more than I feel meh about it, but it's much better than the armadillo lady. So I think it goes at the top of oh no. No, no, no. I said top of oh no. Get over here. This is where I would put it. And like no shade to the artist. It just didn't really work, you know. I don't think it super worked. All right, we got a couple left. And I think these are going to be some pretty wide swings here because we've got a deer up next. When I can find her. Where is the deer? There's the deer. Here's the deer. So this is a lady, and some types of deer ladies do have antlers. Well, you know, deer-ish creatures like caribou and stuff. For sure reindeer females have antlers. So the antlers are not necessarily wrong, you know. The face is too human, is what I'm mostly going with here. Petition to rename section, oh dear. It's just a lady, is what I'm seeing. Like, this is a lady who wanted to cosplay. What if a deer had predator eyes? Like, if there was, I can't think of any off the top of my brain, but like, I don't know, like Centaur World or something, some show that has like animals in it that you wanted to cosplay at a con, this seems like somebody's cosplay. Like they didn't have the capacity to do anything to actually change the shape of their face. So they just put stuff on top of it. And you're right, Sokasa, like you have this big fluffy fur on the ears and then this very skin tight short fur on the face, which is weird. I like how the nose seems kind of moist and it has that little bit of fade into the, into the forehead. I like that. The scruff on the chin just seems absolutely like glued on. Um I don't know why the ears are so fuzzy, both inside and out. Uh the antlers are a little bit crooked as well. I'm not super vibing with this one. Cause really, this is one of the only ones where I feel like you can just definitely tell what the person underneath looks like. Just straight up. I know what she looks like. You know? So I don't think that it accomplishes what it is setting out to accomplish. And for that reason, like originally I was gonna put it here next to the armadillo lady. But I feel like even the armadillo lady has more creativity. Like this one is just so basic. How much do I dislike this one? Like Wolfman also not super inspired. Dryad Lady, she keeps climbing because she was creative. I don't like her. She gives me the spooks, but I don't like her. But she at least was creative. These ones down here are just kind of more, what is this, So I think Dear Lady goes underneath Dryad, to be honest. I don't like her. I don't think they put in much effort. But finally, we get one that I'm kind of excited to show, whether or not you like it. Dinosaur. We've got this dinosaur gal. Obviously, lots of cool things happening here. I love the beak. I love that the inside of the beak matches the color of her lips so that it seems more seamless when she talks. The scales are obviously really cool. You'll notice the design is symmetrical, which has been a problem. Scales are different sizes, horns are different sizes. The scales go down onto her neck. I think this one is really well done. I don't necessarily like it in the sense that it's just not super like an animal that I'm interested in, but I think that it's really well done and I think it's cool. At the very least, it's cool. I might eh, I I don't know that I can argue that this is goated. Because when you kind of break it down simplicity wise, it's still fairly simple. Like, yes, there's a lot of detail in the scales and the beak, but this was something where they could just make like one big prosthetic and attach it to her head, right? As opposed to like having to integrate all of her facial features like they did with the warthog. Yeah, what can you do when your eyes are too close together, right? So I feel like this one took less skill, even though it's very um it took less skill even though it's very skillfully done. So I would say that this one is definitely cooler than the lizard because it does the same thing the lizard did, but much better. I think is where I would put that one. I just really like the beak. The beak is really, really cool. The the fact that the inside of the beak works, you don't feel like you can tell that that beak is their mouth, even though it's attached to their nose. I think that they really did that very well. So kudos to them. Y'all, I'm making this decision for you, okay? This one, not an animal. This one is called a pixie. Let me go ahead and move this out of the way. We are taking this one and we are putting it right in the cursed pile. Cursed, I realize, is now organized incorrectly. This is the most cursed. This defeats the bunny. even. No, nothing that you can say is going to change my mind. This is the most cursed thing. This is what it would look like if the Grinch had a child with the ugliest person in Whoville. And that says nothing at all about the person underneath this makeup and everything about this makeup itself. Hatsune Miku as the Grinch. Like, why is the hair just the flattest blue that you could find? You know what I'm saying? Like, why? It's just the Grinch with anime hair. Yeah, it's supposed to be a pixie. I didn't know that pixies had scales and spikes, but you know, I guess your pixie totally can. The fact that they're wearing like a collared shirt underneath it really just sells it even further. And the fact that like their eyebrows, if I make this bigger again, their eyebrows are also like this plasticky kind of, you know, it's like a Grinch child's toy that they didn't know if they were marketing it to boys or girls, so they made it like kind of monsterish for the boys, but then they put this hair on it for the girls so they could cut its hair. It might literally be Grinch cosplay eyebrows. I don't know what's going on here, and it might be the most cursed thing that I've ever seen. I don't I don't want it. I don't want it in my life. I don't like it. Now, I've also realized once again, I would like to know what sort of horror show this pixie design comes from because I need to avoid it. Ah, yeah, it's so Grinch, and there's nothing you can do about it. I don't even think if you had changed it to not be green that it would have helped. It still would have been Grinch, I think. So I've done the oh no column wrong as well. The most oh no boys have to be at the top. So I'm changing my order here to what I truly meant, which is this. Because that hedgehog, I'm never getting over that hedgehog. I'm just not doing it. The hedgehog is not okay. Has anybody checked in with him? He is not okay. Okay, we've got two more. This next one, a snake. Envision what you would turn a human into if you were going to turn them into a snake. And then tell me if it was this. I think this one is cool because it's so integrated. This person's face is integrated into the design. There's texture in the scales. The coloring is like pretty cool. Of course it's kind of uncanny because they have teeth and snakes don't have human teeth. So it's always going to be a little bit uncanny, but I think like having the bottom jaw be that light color really helps. The thing that's really throwing me is why are they wearing like a leopard print shirt if they're a snake, right? Like why is that the shirt choice that they have? But I kind of like this one because it's obvious that they're not just wearing like a head. This is actually like on their face, and it's this very pretty like smooth like it should be, kind of shiny for a snake. They hid the ears really well. And I think that they did like the separation between the upper lip and the bottom lip in a cool way that is like really reminiscent of a snake. Like the coloration on the bottom jaw and how her natural like lip shape kind of casts that shadow, looks very similar to what a snake looks like. And I know this because I have snakes. So yeah, I like that. I like you said, the extended mouth. I like that the ears are hidden. I like the pretty colors. Again, I would have liked for her to be wearing like colored contacts or something that makes her eyes a little bit easier to see, like her actual pupils and irises a little bit easier to see. Um, but something else that's interesting is it looks kind of like they just gave her big eyelashes instead of doing shading around her eyes. So it still kind of gives some depth and dimension without throwing off, like, why is your snake wearing eyeliner, right? Yeah, exactly. I don't understand the turtleneck. Why are we wearing leopard print if we're a snake? Especially because, like, you could definitely find something that looks like snakeskin. Like that's a pattern. You could do that. So I think this one is cool. Despite all of the cool stuff that they did, again, I don't think that they're like playing with perspective and stuff enough for it to be goated. But I think that I like this one better than the lizard because the lizard is really cool, but he's missing a lot of elements of what makes him look like a lizard because he doesn't have like the long snout or anything like that. And so conversely, she looks like a snake. She's very sleek and like there's no extra material because there shouldn't be because that's what snakes look like, right? So I think that she's above Lizard Guy, personally. She's very cool. Oh, but I've okay, somebody's gotta go. Somebody's gotta go. Because okay, I know exactly what it is. Panda, you're queen of men now. Because if I go into two rows, then we can't see everything anymore. So nobody else could be cool. Even though already, whoops. Can't see Goat Man, so got to get him over there as well. It is true that for Lizard Guy, all of his other like his clothing and stuff is much better. I think he's cool. He just it's the nose mostly. I think that's holding the lizard back because it makes him look less like a lizard. Okay, last one. Last one, we have a bat. The Batman, who, if you, the first thing that I saw when I saw this was if you've ever seen Legend of Neil, which is like a parody of Legend of Zelda, this is what the Moblins look like with their prosthetic makeup. Like the mouth is very, very Moblin. Goated and cursed. Exactly. Thank you, Chassis. You know what I'm talking about. So this is just a Moblin to me with big ears. I have Legend of Neil on DVD as well. I quote it all the time, and Husbando has seen it twice and just really cannot grow to love it. So yeah, this is just a Moblin to me. But the nose, it's not symmetrical, which is kind of a little bit irritating, and neither is the mouth. But as far as bats go, like in an instant this is a bat. So did they succeed? And he's kind of scraggly. Bats are just weird, and I think that this captures kind of that weirdness and kind of fleshiness without being unusually awkward. I really like the ears. They fit into his whole design really well because they're not actually on his ears, right? They're above his ears. Um which works and it fits into his skull. Yeah, the mouth is the only weird bit. I guess I would have liked to see him have teeth Just like some teeny tiny teeth. Yeah. The mouth not being symmetrical, I'm fine with. It's the nose holes that are getting me, because those I feel like should be symmetrical. There's also the ridges that kind of lead into his ears from above his eyes. And those aren't symmetrical either, but it took me a minute to notice that, so I don't really think that that's a super big deal. Like, he's kind of cursed, but he's kind of awesome at the same time. Also, why does it look like he's wearing a lab coat? Because that just, I don't know. Something about that just adds to it. It looks like he needs his coffee. So what do we think, Chad? Is he cursed or is he goated? Because this is our last one. This is our last one. 2.5 hours later. But yeah, like the moment that I saw this chassis, I heard that Moblin when Neil is like, "Hey man, come out! I got a beer for you," and he's like, I'm not falling for that. I got I got 2 beers, 2 beers," and then he pops out from behind the tree. That was what I heard in my head when I saw this. I personally, it's so hard because I think that they did a really good job, but I don't like it. So, like, what do you do in that situation? I don't think that in good conscience I can call him cursed because they did such a good job. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. He's going, come here, Batman. He's going above fish. I think I might be the only one who likes fish. And after all this time, Fishman, he's tumbling. He's going down. He's going down to oh no. Because realistically, Fishman's kind of scary. They did a really good job with him. But as a fishman, he's kind of scary. No, Fishman is dope. Fishman might be the most divisive man on this entire list. I also want to make a slight adjustment, I think. No, here. You know what? Even better. This mouse scares me. Straight up, the mouse scares me. Fishman, he can be meh. All right, he's rising again. Backed by popular demand, Fishman. Oh no, he tripped and Rhino fell with him. Now that we've seen all these other ones, Rhino's actually kind of uninspired. He actually has very little going on. He's not worse than these guys, though. I don't think. And I think she's a little bit... No. No, this is right. I like her, actually, where she was. Changed my mind. We'll take that. We take those here. So yeah, like Pixie, 100% the most cursed thing that I've ever laid eyes on. Followed by Rabbit, who would murder me in my sleep. Chipmunk would watch. Bug person, I just don't like him. I'm kind of tempted to move Hedgehog down into cursed. Because he has no soul in these eyes. Like look at these eyes. Hedgehog concerns me. What level of concern? Is it enough to be cursed? But if Hedgehog is cursed, surely whatever that thing is next to him also is. So I don't know. That's true. I mean, that could just be a symptom of how little of his soul is left after donning the hedgehog outfit. So I want to revisit Bull Guy. Hedgehog drives the getaway car. I want to go back to Bull Guy because we saw him quite early on. And I just think that he's such a dude, bro. Like, he's such a college party dude. And I think that he's really cool. 100% dude, bro. Yeah, for sure. Like, he's great. So here you have it. Here is our ranking of all of our people from cursed to goated that ironically does not include the goat. Feels like less enthused about his plasticky hair. Yeah, well, he didn't get to sit in the top position forever. Because we have Bug Guy up there now, who is fantastic. So the moral of the story is a lot of people did a lot of cool things with these prompts. A lot of people did cursed things with these prompts. But Bull Guy's wearing the wig as a dare. Yeah, it belonged to somebody else originally. And he just picked it up for a little while. You know what else, real quick before we end this? Let me find Warthog Guy again. This guy, I don't know if it's the way he's standing or like his hair or what. If the Hunger Games were anthropomorphic, this guy would be in the Capitol, like getting the tributes ready and like judging their outfits. This guy is like a District 1 Hunger Games dude. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he's 100% a designer there. For real. I don't know. It's just something about the way that he was standing just reminded me of that. He's got sass. It's a big vibe, actually. Just rewrite the Hunger Games, but do it with animals. So anyway, here's our list. Thank you for your input. I am there was somebody that was a dancer, and I don't remember who it was. But there was some, I don't know if you want to call them contestants, who was like a dancer slash actor, and I wonder if it was him. From afar, the bat's 100% a mugshot. The Batman in his doctor outfit. So, yeah, that was fun. Thank you for hanging out. This was 100% chaos, and there was no real reason that I did this besides the fact that I just wanted to. So, there's that. Yeah, no, this stream was weird, but it was a lot of fun. So, who are we going to raid? Coco Yuri is playing Journey, which is exciting. Sadly, my brain just completely exploded. Slam House, that's who it is not streaming. Or we could, raid into the person who's doing the music for this. Coco's been running glitchless a bit. That's exciting. I want to see what Sunny's doing. I know we just raided Sunny, but I feel like Sunny doesn't stream very often, so... Yeah, Sunny's doing art, of course. Covert Muffin. Cadence of Hyrule. Tikri's playing Stardew Valley. How long has Tikri been streaming? Because I kind of want to keep it going with, like, you know, VTubers and stuff. So maybe we'll go over to Tikri. I mean, whoever I raid into is not going to be anything remotely like what we just did. But But yeah, so say hi to Tikri when you get over there, playing Stardew Valley. And I will be back on Tuesday with a speed run. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Y'all are wonderful. Stay safe, have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you later. Bye.
I assumed you were carrying around a flute